Ning and Quinn are a married couple living in Bangkok with their young daughter, Nita, who is still in kindergarten. To help pay off her property installments, Ning had been renting out one of her apartment units. But when the tenant finally left, the place was in terrible condition. Trash was scattered everywhere, the carpets were soaked, and even the windows and TV were broken. The tenant completely ignored every message and phone call from Tom, the property agent handling Ning's unit. Technically, Ning could have sued for damages or even gone to the police. But instead of spending money on legal fees and dealing with a long, exhausting process, Tom suggested something else. He told her to use the money to renovate the apartment and move in there instead. Meanwhile, the house where she and Quinn were currently living could be rented out, and Tom already had potential tenants ready. If everything worked out, they could earn a very attractive extra income of 70,000 baht a month. Still, Quinn was hesitant. He did not want to risk ending up with another nightmare tenant. And on top of that, most of the furniture from his house would never fit inside Ning's apartment. But after being persuaded again and again, he finally agreed to at least meet the prospective renters first. Because the family really needed the extra money, Ning also applied for a job as a marketing manager. On the same day as her interview, the prospective tenants arrived, Nook and her mother Ratri. Quinn went to meet them first with Tom. Then after Ning finished her interview and returned home, she briefly saw Ratri handing a red book to Quinn. A moment later, Tom introduced Nook and Ratri properly, and when Nook asked when they could move in, Quinn agreed right away. The house would be vacant the following month. Most of their belongings would stay in the storage room there, since not everything could be moved into Ning's apartment. This is home for rent. A month later, before they officially moved out, Ning said goodbye to her neighbor, Pintira, and asked her to keep an eye on the house in case the new tenants caused any problems. To save money, Ning and Quinn kept the apartment renovations to a minimum. They patched up the damaged sofa, cleaned the dirty carpets, and covered the broken balcony window with plastic. On their first day there, they celebrated Nita's birthday. Later that night, after their daughter had fallen asleep, Ning noticed Quinn reading the red book and slipping it into his bag. When she asked about it, he claimed it was not from Ratri at all. He said it was just a factory mechanical manual he needed for work. Then, as they were about to get close, Ning noticed a strange tattoo on Quinn's chest, a triangle with 2 dots. Quinn brushed it off and said he had gotten it after losing a bet with one of his coworkers. Since they only had one bedroom, Quinn decided to sleep on the sofa, so his snoring would not wake Nita. A few days later, Nita is given a school assignment about her family tree. To help her, Ning goes back to the house to pick up their family photo album. But as soon as she arrives, something feels off. Nook seems strangely reluctant to let her inside. Ratri is seen peeking from the window, only to quickly shut the curtain. Letters addressed to Ning and Quinn have already been opened by Nook, who claims she thought they were hers. And then there is the most unsettling detail, a tattoo on the back of Nook's neck that looks exactly the same as the one on Quinn's chest. Not long after, Ning receives a message from her neighbor Pintira, asking her to stop by. When she does, Pintira shares everything she has noticed. Since moving in, Nook and Ratri have never once left the house. They have placed crow feathers at the front door, something often associated with dark rituals. Every early morning, she hears singing coming from what used to be Nita's bedroom. And one night, she even saw a flock of crows circling above the house. Her dog would not stop barking until that very morning when she found it dead under strange and disturbing circumstances. Back at the apartment, Ning uses a copy of Ratri's ID to search her name in Thailand's medical database. But strangely, there is no record of her at all. Later, when Quinn comes home from work, Ning brings up everything she saw and questions the behavior of both Nook and Ratri. She also asks about his tattoo, pointing out how identical it is to Nook's. Quinn brushes it off calmly, saying Ratri has been retired for a long time, so her name might no longer appear in the system. As for the tattoo, he insists it is just a coincidence. But Ning can tell he is hiding something. While accompanying Nitha to a swimming session, she quietly asks a friend to investigate the background of their tenants, suspecting they might be involved in some kind of cult. Meanwhile, without Ning realizing it, Nitha finds a cluster of crow feathers near the pool and picks them up. That night, after everyone has gone to sleep, something terrifying begins to unfold. A flock of crows suddenly gathers around the apartment. Blood starts seeping from beneath the bed, and the balcony door slowly opens on its own. Not long after, Nitha wakes her mother, saying she sees something. Ning assumes it is just a reflection in the mirror and gently puts her back to sleep. She closes the balcony door, trying to calm herself, but then the wardrobe suddenly swings open by itself. Then through a message online, Pintira sends Ning a video showing a ritual taking place inside Ning's own house. Even more horrifying, Ratri briefly turns her head and looks straight into the camera. Before Ning can react, Pintira deletes the video and stops responding completely. When Ning tries to show the message to Quinn, she realizes he is no longer on the sofa. The plastic covering the balcony window begins to shake violently, as if hit by a powerful gust of wind. She calls him, and his phone starts ringing from outside the apartment door. Quinn returns and casually explains that he found a rat in the bathroom and threw it outside using a can, sealed with the red book. Naturally, Ning tells him to throw the book away since it is now dirty. But later, when she quietly peeks through the gap in the door, she sees Quinn placing the red book back into his bag and locking the zipper tightly. The next day, Ning goes straight back to the house to check on things. Strangely, no one answers at all. Not long after, Nook approaches her and casually says that Pintira has gone back to her hometown, but Ning does not believe it for a second. She knows Pintira was born and raised in Bangkok and has no hometown to return to. Back at the apartment, Ning reminds Nita to clean up the mess on the floor, but Nita does not respond. She is completely absorbed in her iPad, watching a video of herself and Ning burying a rabbit. The unsettling part is that Nita is not even there. Only a doll sits in her place. Moments later, Nita suddenly appears and picks up the doll. It turns out to be a birthday gift from Quinn. Later that night, while half asleep, Ning reaches over, thinking she is touching her daughter, but instead feels the hair of that same purple-haired doll. Startled, she immediately locks it away in a drawer. Then she hears Quinn's phone alarm ringing outside. It is only 3:45 in the morning, far too early for him to be getting ready for work. Ning quietly watches as Quinn takes the red book from his bag and leaves the apartment. She wants to record what he is doing, but forgets her phone is still charging. The charger slips and falls to the floor, making a noise, but luckily Quinn does not notice. When Ning peeks again, Quinn is already back, lying on the sofa as if nothing happened. But something else feels wrong. The clothes hanging in the room suddenly begin to move on their own. Ning quickly stuffs them away, trying to calm herself. And then out of nowhere, she sees something terrifying. The figure leaves a symbol on Nitha's chest, one that looks almost identical to the tattoos on Quinn and Nuke. What makes it even more disturbing is that Quinn only watches from a distance, then walks away as if nothing is wrong. The following night, at the exact same time, 3:45 in the morning, the alarm rings again. This time Quinn is nowhere to be found. Ning quickly opens his bag, which is no longer locked, but the red book is missing. Remembering the zipper code 1 and 13, she rushes to peek outside and sees Quinn heading into the elevator, going up to the top floor. Driven by curiosity, Ning follows him. On the 8th floor, she finds a staff-only door propped open. Inside, it is completely dark, forcing her to use her phone's flashlight. She carefully climbs the stairs leading to the rooftop, where she is met with a shocking sight: countless crows circling above the building. And in the corner of the rooftop, Quinn is performing a ritual, just like Nuke and Ratri. Suddenly, a satellite dish crashes down nearby, almost hitting Ning. She freezes, afraid of being discovered. But Quinn seems completely unaware of his surroundings, as if he is under some kind of trance, continuing the ritual without hesitation. Even stranger, there are whispers echoing around him, voices murmuring in unison, even though he is completely alone. And all around him, the crows gather, almost as if they are not just birds, but something far more sinister. Trying to stay hidden, Ning quietly records everything. But suddenly, the camera is blocked by the figure of a small child, even though no one is actually standing in front of her. Terrified, she runs back to her apartment. The next morning, while Quinn is in the bathroom, Ning seizes the chance to open his bag and take the red book. She does not even have time to close the bag properly and quickly hides the book inside her clothes. As soon as Quinn comes out, Ning rushes into the bathroom to check it, only to find that the book is completely blank, with no writing or images at all. Moments later, Quinn notices his bag has been opened and asks if Ning took anything. Panic sets in. She has no idea where to hide the book, so she tries to throw it into the apartment's drainage compartment. But when she opens it, she finds it filled with strange items that look like they are used for rituals. By now, it is clear that the strange events are not limited to the apartment. The next day at school, Ning is shocked to see Nitha calmly reading the same red book, with Ratri sitting right beside her. Ning rushes toward her daughter, pushing through smoke from a fire drill. But suddenly, both Nitha and Ratri vanish. A moment later, Nitha reappears and claims she has just come out of the building. That is when Ning notices something horrifying: a triangle symbol on the back of her daughter's neck, identical to the tattoos on Quinn and Nuke. After everything she has experienced, Ning finally decides to run away with Nitha. She returns to the apartment to pack their essentials and tells her daughter to wait in the car. But when she finishes, Quinn is already there, and he somehow knows about her plan. Nitha has told him everything. Quinn tries to convince Ning to stay, but she refuses. She no longer trusts him and fears the cult he is involved in will put their daughter in danger. The situation quickly escalates, and Quinn slaps her. As 2 security guards step in to hold him back, Ning takes the opportunity to escape with Nitha. She initially plans to go to her mother's house, but her mother informs her that Quinn has already been there looking for them. For safety, they decide to stay at a hotel instead. But even there, things feel wrong. Nitha insists she does not want to go to her grandmother's house, and instead wants to return to her father, saying she needs to help him with something. Ning breaks down in tears, as her daughter refuses to explain what Quinn is planning. The next day, Ning leaves Nitha alone in the hotel room for a while to meet a friend who has been investigating Ratri. That is when she learns the truth. Ratri has been using a fake identity, and her real name is Napapon Pongtewa. Despite how suspicious she seems, there are no records of her being involved in any criminal activity. But when Ning returns to the hotel room, her worst fear becomes reality. Nitha is gone. A janitor tells her that the child was taken away by her father. In a panic, Ning rushes back to the apartment, only to find it completely empty. Then she notices something chilling. There are drops of blood on the bed, and when she lifts the mattress, she sees it, the same triangle symbol. Now completely overwhelmed, Ning rushes back to her house. What she finds there is beyond terrifying. The living room is covered with a massive cult symbol. Offerings are scattered everywhere, and Nitha's old bedroom is filled with disturbing objects, clearly left behind from ritual activities. Without wasting time, Ning calls Tom, her property agent. He tells her that Nuke and Ratri have already moved out. Immediately, Ning and Tom head to another house that the 2 women are now renting. But on the way, Ning notices something chilling. There is a tattoo on Tom's hand, and it matches the symbol of the cult. Thinking quickly, she pretends to feel sick and says she needs to throw up. When Tom steps out of the car, Ning jumps back inside and locks the door. At first, she almost believes him when he claims he is not part of the cult, saying his tattoo is different. But then she spots a red book inside the car, identical to the one Quinn has been hiding. That is when everything becomes clear. Tom suddenly smashes the car window. Before Ning can react, he hits her with a rock, knocking her unconscious. She is stuffed into a suitcase and taken to a remote cabin. Not long after, Tom's phone alarm goes off. Once again, it is 3:45 in the morning, the exact same time Quinn has been performing his rituals. The story then shifts back 11 years earlier to 2012. Long before Quinn ever met Ning, he lived alone with his daughter from a previous marriage, Ya. He loved her deeply and gave her a purple-haired doll that could record voices as a birthday gift, the very same doll Ning would later encounter. But that birthday turned into a nightmare. While Ya was bathing, the water heater suddenly exploded, killing her instantly in a horrific accident. Quinn was completely devastated. He blamed himself since he had just repaired the heater. To make things worse, Ja's mother never showed up, having abandoned them since Ja was born. Broken and alone, Quinn lost his will to live. He spent his days locked inside, watching old videos of his daughter while drowning himself in food and alcohol. He began treating the purple-haired doll as if it were Ya herself, even preparing meals for it, holding on to the recorded voice stored inside. Then one day Quinn met Ning, who was working as an insurance agent. They got to know each other, and within a few months they got married and later had a daughter, Nita. But Quinn's grief never truly faded. One day he noticed Nita talking to someone he could not see. To him, there was no one there. But to Nita, it was as if she was speaking to Ya. And just like at the beginning of the story, this is when Quinn first encountered Ratri and Nuke, who came to look at the house they wanted to rent. At that time, while looking toward the bathroom where Ya had died, Ratri, who claims to have spiritual abilities, reveals something shocking. She says that 11 years ago, Ja died quickly and did not suffer, but her spirit is still lingering around the house. Quinn is stunned. Then Ratri hands him a red book, saying it can help. She also suggests that if she is allowed to rent the house, she can guide him further. Drawn in by her abilities, Quinn agrees to let Ratri and Nuke rent the house. Not long after, he seeks Ratri out again. This time, she tells him that Ya's spirit is growing weaker and may soon disappear completely. Hearing this, Quinn becomes desperate. He begs her to bring his daughter back. Ratri explains that it is possible, but it requires a ritual. The spirit needs a new body, one that is the same age and capable of communicating with the unseen. That body is Nita. She reassures Quinn that there is nothing to worry about, because two spirits can coexist in one body. According to her, Ja's spirit would simply live inside Nita without harming her. Blinded by hope, Quinn agrees. He joins the cult and marks himself with a triangle tattoo on his chest as a sign of devotion. He even explains everything to Nita, and she agrees to help bring Ya back, believing she is helping a friend. Many of the strange things Ning noticed earlier now make sense. It was Quinn who closed the curtains when she came to the house. It was also him who opened the letters, not Nuke. And when Pintira secretly recorded one of the rituals, she was forced to join the cult as well. After telling Nita the truth, Quinn begins preparing for the ritual. He sets up an altar inside the bathroom drain, draws the cult symbol beneath the bed, and performs rituals every night at exactly 3:45 in the morning. As he goes deeper into it, he starts to see things. The crows around him begin to appear as people chanting together. And then a mysterious figure appears before him. It is Jaya. That same night, Ja's spirit marks a symbol on Nita's chest.
พี่พลอยเองลูกจ๋า
The next day, Quinn, Nuck, and Ratri go to Nita's school, where Ratri places another symbol on the back of her neck. The final symbol, the last step of the ritual, must be drawn by Quinn himself. When Ning takes Nita to the hotel, Nita secretly informs Quinn of their location, and he quickly comes to take her. After that, Quinn leaves with Ratri and Nuke, heading to Pintra's house to avoid Ning, who is searching for her daughter. At one point, Quinn wonders where Pintira has gone, but Nuke simply reassures him that she will be back by that night. That night, after Ning leaves with Tom, Quinn, Ratri, Nuke, and Nita, return to the house, straight to Nita's bedroom, to continue the ritual. Rain pours heavily outside as Quinn prepares for the final step. Using blood from his own palm, he begins drawing the third symbol on his daughter's forehead. After finishing, Quinn steps out of the room and notices water dripping from the leaking ceiling. Then he hears movement downstairs. When he checks, he finds Pintira. But at this point, the truth is finally revealed from Ratri's perspective. From the very beginning, Quinn was never part of their real plan. He was only being used. For the past 4 months, Ratri and her group had been watching Nitha and her family. Even the damage to Ning's apartment was staged, carried out with Tom's help, who had long been one of Ratri's followers. They created a fake story about previous tenants to push the family into moving out and renting their house to Ratri and Nuke. Because Ratri's true goal was never Ya. She wanted to bring back her own daughter, Prai, who died years ago at the age of 7. Prai's spirit had been bound to a wooden doll all this time. And according to Ratri, Nitha was the perfect vessel. She was the same age, and she had the rare ability to communicate with spirits. On the very first day they moved in, they began their plan. They lured Ja's spirit to appear, then trapped it inside the purple-haired doll. This was all done to deceive Quinn, making him believe he was bringing his daughter back, when in reality, he was preparing Nitha's body for prey. With the help of Tom and Nuke, Ratri then performed a ritual to awaken Priest's spirit from the wooden doll. That same night, when Ning began experiencing terrifying events in the apartment, the entity haunting Nitha was not Ja at all. It was Prey, finally awakened after being dormant for decades. Meanwhile, Pintira, who had been caught recording the ritual, was placed under a spell and turned into a tool. She was being controlled, prepared to kill Quinn when the time came. When Ratri met Nitha at school to mark the second symbol on her neck, she revealed something even more disturbing. She explained that she herself was not truly human anymore. She was the spirit of a woman, a direct descendant of the cult's original leader, who had been living inside her body for over 50 years. As already known, Ratri had been using a fake identity to rent the house. Her real name was Napapan. She chose Nitha because their spiritual abilities were nearly equal, which is why Nitha had always been able to sense Ja's presence. And before the ritual could be completed, Nitha had to give her consent. She believed she was allowing Ja's spirit to enter her body. But in reality, it was never Ja. It was always Prey. The scene returns to the moment Quinn carves the third symbol onto his daughter's forehead. At the same time, Nitha, growing suspicious, asks Ratri about Napapan. What she learns is far more terrifying than she could ever imagine. The original owner of that body, Napapan, is already dead, and her consciousness has been completely replaced by Ratri. Shocked and terrified, Nitha tries to run. And this is where everything collides. Pintira, who has been under the cult's control, suddenly attacks and kills Quinn. With no time to waste, Ratri immediately begins the final ritual. She prepares to transfer Prey's spirit into Nitha's body. She cuts her own palm, smears the blood onto the doll, beheads a crow, and spreads its blood across the cult symbol in the living room. As always, the ritual takes place at exactly 3:45 in the morning. Quinn's phone alarm rings, followed by Tom's. The timing is almost cruel. While Quinn lies dying from the stab wound, Ning is still unconscious inside a suitcase, about to be sacrificed by Tom. But things take an unexpected turn. After Ratri and Nuke bring Nita into the room, Quinn, who is somehow still alive, uses the opportunity to fight back. He manages to kill Pintira, then quietly makes his way upstairs, planning to attack Nuke with a pair of scissors. Meanwhile, rain continues to leak through the ceiling, adding to the chaos inside the house. Nuke manages to block the attack using a bag that contains the purple-haired doll. Quinn grows weaker as his wound worsens, and despite everything, he can do nothing to save Nita, who is screaming as the ritual continues. At the same time, Ning regains consciousness after Tom is killed. Thinking quickly, she uses Tom's phone to message Quinn, pretending that she has been killed and that everything is going according to plan. She also tries to call the police, but her phone dies before she can get through. When she finally reaches the house, Ning grabs a hammer from the storage room and stuffs several spray cans into the microwave, triggering a powerful explosion. As Nook rushes to the kitchen to deal with the fire, Ning runs straight to the bedroom to save her daughter. But just as she is about to strike Ratri with the hammer, invisible forces hold her back. It is as if the cult's followers, now something beyond human, are restraining her. Desperate, Ning tries to wake Nita, but her eyes are already changing. With no other option, Ning smashes the doll that holds Pride's spirit. Then, without wasting a second, she carries Nita out of the room, only to be met with a devastating sight. Quinn is already dead. Moments later, Ning is surrounded by Ratri and Nuke, and the truth is finally spoken. The girl she is holding is no longer Nita. Her body now belongs to Pride. But before anything else can happen, the storm reaches its peak. The ceiling, already weakened by the heavy rain and the weight of the objects above, suddenly collapses. Debris crashes down on everyone inside. Ning and Nuke lose consciousness under the rubble. Ratri is too weak to stand. And then, as the dust settles, Nita wakes up. Without hesitation, she picks up a metal rod and drives it into Nuke's head. The film then briefly flashes back to a moment just before Ning arrived at the house. In his final moments, Quinn had actually completed one last step. He managed to carve the third cult symbol onto the forehead of the purple-haired doll inside his bag, the very doll that contained the spirit of his daughter Ya. According to the rules explained by Ratri, the third symbol must be marked on the object where the spirit resides. And at the same time, before Prey's spirit could fully transfer, Ning destroyed the doll that held it. That single moment changed everything. Quinn's wish was fulfilled, but not in the way anyone expected. Nitha's spirit was gone, but Ja's spirit was the one that returned, now living inside Nitha's body. There is another detail that finally makes sense. Earlier, Ja's spirit had already placed the second symbol on Nitha's neck, using water seeping from the ceiling. After everything that happened, Ratri and Nuke are dead. Ning survives and is later treated in the hospital, together with Nitha. Only then does Ning learn the truth that had been hidden from her for years. Her husband had once had a daughter, Ya. Seeing Nita holding a photo of Quinn and Ya, Ning realizes something is not right. With tears in her eyes, Nitha apologizes over and over again. She explains that Nita is gone, and that Ja has taken her place. Ning breaks down, trying to accept the reality in front of her. Because no matter what, Ja is still her husband's child, and the body in front of her is still her daughter's. After Quinn's death, Ning moves